another one.
How can I up my skills to become a software development engineer in test? I'm currently working as a QA automation engineer. I know some people may use the term SDET slash QA automation interchangeably. I have 4 years experience in automation and I want to get more technical because I know SDETs can be considered more of a specialized skill. Looking for some guidance where to begin. That is an amazing question. So I love to see when people are already in QA and they are looking to level up their skills, right? Like I was saying, let's start the clock. One of my latest tech barbarians, they are in QA already, and I am so excited to work with them because we are going to go to the moon, right? I already sent them like the course to start on, and we're going to be working very closely together in order so that we can strategically maneuver, because like it's just so much easier once you're already in the industry, and then we can strategize from there, right? So we are going to be like, we're going to go like straight up, right? So and the reason I mentioned that is because like reading this person's story right here, they're a QA automation engineer. They have the skills, right? But they want more. They want more, and I love to see people wanting to do more, wanting to grow. They do not become stagnant, right? So with 4 years of experience in QA automation, that's amazing. The the thing with SDET, right? And I have like some knowledge of SDET, but it's not my forte. I'm more on the QA automation side, right? The QA engineering side. I don't even like to say QA automation engineer. I'm more of a QA engineer because I engineer like quality solutions, right? So I might figure out like metric stuff. I might figure out like CI/CD type stuff, and I might be very close to. I might be as it. I don't know, right? But I know that your coding skills for like, and this is like from talking with Andrew and Don and stuff like that. I know that your coding skills need to be very, very well, because guess what? As an SDET, you are a software developer, right? You are a software engineer, but you focus on testing. So you should be able to write code like to build software, right? You should be able to go back and forth between writing the code to build the software or writing it for tests, right? That to me, that's the difference between an SDET and a QA engineer, right? Your coding skills should be the same as a software engineer, right? Because you are a software engineer. You're just focusing your software engineering on test and on building testing solutions. But and that's how I see it, right? That's how I differentiate the two. Is SDETs are just software engineers, and QA engineers are people who are focused solely on orchestrating quality solutions, right? Like they don't need to have the best coding skills. Like they don't need to be able to create a software from scratch or anything like that. But they need to be very adept. They need to have the best critical thinking skills. They need to be able to navigate like QA strategies and stuff like that. QA engineers are the ones who are working like building the test plans, the strategy, the risk and stuff like that. And in my eyes, while the SDETs are the ones who are orchestrating, I would say they're orchestrating the not necessarily like they might be producing the code in order to support QA engineers, manual testers, QA testers, whatever, right? So what do you need to level up your skills to become an SDET? So I would say, I would say I'm gonna give a couple of things out there, right? Number one, I always go back to Chaos Camp, right? Go with Chaos Camp, do some of those coding challenges and those QA challenges and stuff like that, right? That is going to help your critical thinking skills, help you figure out like different ways to maneuver. It's amazing over there, right? But in addition to Chaos Camp, right? I have like I'm going to get into this year, but I've heard from the testing lead about lead code. I've heard from other people as well. We've spoken about lead code before. I looked at the site the other day. So lead code is probably a good site to get into. But number one, as always, Chaos Camp. I will always support my brother Don. But then also you might want to check out lead code, right? Because it has some challenges that apparently a lot of SDETs use. I know the testing lead talks about that all the time. So that might be that would be another good one. But one that we are also going to be getting into next week on the morning shows is Code Wars, right? Because that one is going to be more specific to coding languages challenges, right? Like, doing kata on particular coding languages. So that way we can get into JavaScript, we can get into TypeScript, we can get into Python, we can get into Java, we can get into SQL. So many different coding languages that we can practice on, which I think as an SDET, knowing knowing about algorithms, databases, stuff like that, it is going to help you build your applications to support QA engineers, to support manual QA, to support QA testers. So I think that those are the things that you're going to want to focus on. So one more time, Chaos Camp. That's always going to be my number one, regardless. Chaos Camp, number one. Then you might want to look into lead code, and then you'd want to look into Code Wars. You can definitely join me in the mornings of Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 7:15 a.m. as we get into, as we do these coding challenges to wake up our mind so we can. And the number one reason that I like to do these in the morning, right, before I actually start work, is because it wakes up my mind. So when I get to work, I'm not wasting the first 2 hours of the day. I am ready to work, ready to roll. My mind is sharp. And that's what I encourage you guys to be, is to be sharp, be focused on work. So not only that you can grow in your personal life, you can grow at work as well. And you can continue to win. You can continue to level up, all right? So one more time, Chaos Camp, lead code, Code Wars, level up your skills so that you can be able to interview like a king, interview like a queen, right? You can be ready, right? And to be ready, you have to level up your skills. In addition to some other stuff like practicing interviewing, having the right resume. But the number one step is to have the qualifying skills. I was talking to Tam from Women in Linux about this in the Discord. Your skills need to be on par. A lot of times people don't get the position because they do not have the skills, right? So that is what my thoughts are on you transitioning from a Q engineer to an SDET. I think that deserves a round of applause. Because anytime that you go for growth, I celebrate you, all right?
If you enjoyed the fascinating information shared in this video and you want more, be sure to hit the subscribe button to Tech Coach Ralph to be notified for new videos.